Well, so we have to take you on a journey along our borders, and this time we're in the Volta region. And travelers and traders on the Aflau border, specifically BIT9, are accusing Togolese border officials of extortion as a condition of entry, even after they show proof of their identity. None of the officials we approach will go on record, and though they deny the allegations, they also admit to accepting unsolicited gifts given freely by travelers. Well, the border check at BIT9 is the only main border in an area laced with unapproved routes. Ivy Setoji has more in today's edition of a series on porous borders.
This walkway at BIT9 is called a pedestrian border. Lots of people are crossing to and fro Togo. Some have identification cards, others do not. Both customs officials and their immigration counterparts share one room with two tables differentiating their offices. Their Togolese counterparts share a similar story. From here, Togo is just a 2-minute walk, and it's not a wonder that Togolese children walk from Togo to school in Ghana and vice versa. Families are spread across this border and they visit very often. So here at the border, I observe dozens of people walk in and out of the two countries' security posts every minute to do business, study, or visit friends and family. Some of the travelers accuse border officials here of extortion even after they submit requisite documentation as proof of their identities.
Our brothers and sisters who are actually Ghanaians faces challenges, not with our Ghanaian officials, but then with their Togolese counterparts. Even yesterday, when I was crossing with some of the registration officials, we presented our Ghana card, but then they still insisted on us giving them money before crossing, which when you even see the Ghana card, it is boldly written on it that it is ECOWAS identity card. But I was saddened to be returned yesterday, and which we were not really allowed to cross the border. And when we talk about the security on our side, I think our people are really doing their best. They are doing their best.
It is difficult crossing the border, especially those of us very close to it. We cannot cross the border in peace because the security always asks us money or demand money from us anytime we cross to and from Togo. Even if you are going for a funeral or just to buy maize or any reason, they will demand money from you before you cross. Even the border post people and anyone working at the security post demands money before we cross. Sometimes some of us have to plead on behalf of some residents crossing, even though it's still very difficult. We are pleading with the government to come to the aid of the people around the pedestrian border because things are not easy here. Issues here should be addressed by government because people find it difficult crossing the BIT9 pedestrian border because of the issues with the extortion of monies, especially to people who sell around, and even drivers are unable to do their businesses in peace.
Within this small enclave of BIT9, there are about 5 unapproved routes. This one is closest to the main border post. Several travelers commute through this route to mostly avoid payment of taxes or to avoid long immigration and customs procedures. The only thing separating the two countries at this point is a wire mesh. As a matter of fact, some of the travelers have their houses right by the wire mesh. An immigration officer was spotted at the entrance of this unapproved route at the time we visited. It is unclear whether he was there to discourage usage of this unapproved route by himself, or this is part of the border officials' strategy to at least screen those who opt for this route. At the main Aflau-Togo border, it is business as usual. Hundreds of people, as well as vehicles and trucks full of goods, move in and out. Elliot Edem Agbenu is the MCE for Ketu South.
You see, the main border is there, meant for, crossing to and fro. And also the Bit9 border is there specifically for pedestrians. It's not even allowed for goods to pass through Bit9. It's there for pedestrians when going to Togo, come through the approved route, Bit9 or the main border. Let you just, if you have an ID card, just show it and you'll be allowed to go through. But if you have the risk of going through the unapproved route, that is when you also meet Kalabule people there who will also be taking advantage of you. So yes, they've always been making these claims, but they've not been substantiating it. I've always made a point that if somebody takes money from you, you have the security services. Make sure you demand receipt from the person, because where the mesh is being controlled by Togolese. So they have almost the control over whether to close it or not. And at times we have to appeal to them to close it for us.
Putting in place the right measures at the borders at this time could be a stitch in time.
That is just Togo out there. This is just Togo. From here, you just 2 minutes, then you cross the border, you are in Togo.
Ivy Setoji's report for Joy News.
And if you have experiences of those situations of either crossing the border or witnessing, or just having been in close relationship with somebody who has had those experiences, make sure that you send us videos, audios, or pictures as you tag us on Facebook, Joy News on TV, which is our official page, and then also at Joy News on TV, our handle on Twitter. But elsewhere in the news, the minority in Parliament has petitioned the United States Ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie Sullivan, demanding formal investigations by the U.S. government into the PDS saga. The minority says the move has been prompted by their belief that the Akufo-Addo administration could not be trusted to conduct thorough and independent investigations into what they describe as a scandal of monumental proportions. The NDC MPs say they are seeking to trigger investigations under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act of the United States of America. The petition was signed by the minority leader in Parliament, Haruna Idrisu, and delivered at the U.S. Embassy office here in Accra by the ranking member on Parliament's Committee on Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa.
Array of sanctions that can apply, from a freezing of accounts to visa restrictions to all kinds of blockades that can happen within diplomatic circles. There can also be a push for prosecution. You see, it's important to make all of these, corrupt practices, corrupt conduct, a high-risk activity. And people must know that all avenues will be triggered when they engage in such acts. We are talking about 51% of a strategic national interest, valued at about 22 billion cedis. That was given to people, talk to all the experts in the sector, people who have no track record, who have no financial capacity, no technical competence. I mean, they had absolutely no business coming near this transaction. Which is made up of government appointees, let us down. There was no due diligence. This was clearly a sweetheart arrangement, calling cronies around the table and raping the country. Wow. And we are not going to sit idle. We don't want posterity to say that the minority sat silent and we were complicit in this deal. We raised this money.
And logically, there have been swift reactions. The Minister for Information, Kojo Ponkroma, has dismissed the minorities' actions, saying they are undiplomatic. He insists government will conduct a thorough investigation into the matter and ensure transparency throughout the process.
No country will take it kindly if you have senior politicians of their own stock literally calling on the international community and saying that we don't trust our government, come and investigate. When candidate Trump at the time called on Russia to come and investigate Hillary Clinton's emails, you saw the kind of disappointment the world over. These things are not even done in diplomatic circles. But it's not surprising. This is the same minority that says that they were going to have The American Securities and Exchange Commission investigates the finance minister. I think at a point they said there was a female investigator who had been appointed and who was coming to Ghana to investigate. Some of these things they do for the political drama that is associated with it. The important thing here is that the government of Ghana, at nobody's prompting, commenced this due diligence exercise on the 28th of February and proceeded to identify that which it describes as suspected fundamental breaches, did not keep quiet about it, suspended the concession, is having a full-scale inquiry, and engagement in that inquiry include engagements with the Millennium Challenge Corporation of the United States of America, as well as all other interested parties. This administration can be trusted to get to the bottom of this matter, and in the spirit of transparency, as we have mentioned, will update the nation and all stakeholders on what we find. This new drama that they're asking the Americans to come and investigate, as though the same people who found the initial fundamental breaches and are going ahead with the inquiry are incapable of doing it. I think it's one of their many antics, and we can put it on the shelf of antics that they usually come up with.
It's a Thursday, and we'll bring you Tech Thursday. And this week, government says it is ready to cede management of some toll booths in Ghana to private companies. It is part of efforts to maximize revenue to finance road projects and their expansion and improvement. Well, though electronic tolls at booths around Tema, for example, and other places have recorded increased revenue, traffic delays and barrier lift failure are drawbacks. However, a new electronic tolling collection system with a mobile app is set to address such challenges. It was developed by students of the Department of Computer Engineering at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
A survey by the Ministry of Roads and Transport shows the country loses about 40 to 80% revenue from toll booths. To improve revenue generation, efforts were initiated to automate all 35 electronic toll booths nationwide, out of which only 4 have been completed. Tabitha Amadaka.
The lack of accountability and then favoritism, and then all of those lead to debts for the government. It was published in 2017 by the NHI that the government had only received 1.2 billion Ghana cedi as revenue, but then they had a debt of 17 billion.
And then she and her colleague, Christabel Akwe, set out to look for ways to maximize the efficiency of electronic toll booth systems. Emphasis were on reducing traffic congestion, fuel consumption, and saving travel time.
That accountability exists in the collection of tolls.
The system consists of a central database and web server that stores and retrieves information about registered vehicles. The tag can be placed on the windshield embedded within the DVLA roadworthy sticker, vehicle registration or license plate. As the vehicle reaches the barrier, a reader scans and deducts toll from the prepaid account.
The electronic toll collection works with a tag which will be attached to every vehicle that uses the toll gate, and the tag would contain some information that concerns a particular user's account. So the account is just like the current prepaid account that we have, where you have your card and then you go and buy credits to enable you use electricity. But in this case, what you are buying is credits that anytime you pass by the toll gate, it automatically deducts the charge for your car. So for our system, we are just using a reader that would be at the toll gate, so that anytime you pass through the toll gate, you wouldn't even have to stop, and you would just have to pass, and then the deductions will be made to your account.
Vehicle owners can therefore see transaction and manage account information on their mobile phones. The system records negatives for defaulters who are required to pay all debts before renewal of roadworthy certificates. The proposed system also permits quick tracking of vehicles, as the location information of vehicles are stored during toll deduction. Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
Well, great insight into the world of technology in order for us to maximize revenue as we toll roads across Ghana. But before we go, the lack of motivation and time constraints have often been cited by many as reasons for their inability to work out. That is to exercise. Now, at the time, dietitians and health officials currently are calling for rigorous fitness routines to deal with the problem of our own poor lifestyles. The need for exercises seem to have become more imperative. Now, guess what? There is a way of going beyond the barriers to keep fit. Courtesy a 30-day weight loss challenge launched on the Cosmopolitan Mix on Joy 99.7 FM with our own Mama Viusu Abwaje. Komla Hadom filed the story.
My last visit to the dietitian made me uncomfortable. It didn't have much to do with my late-night eating habits or my irregular dieting schedules. But here's what. I weighed more than 70 kilograms. And right before Andrew Pebby, the dietitian, I made a decision in my mind to begin a fitness routine. I thought of my colleagues Maxwell Agbagba and Ernest Menu, and I felt somewhat good about myself. At least, my pot belly was not as profound as theirs. But so many things came up. Register with a gym, begin done jogging up the hill, you name it. This was sometime last year. Today, I am yet to lift a dumbbell, and I do not even remember ever using a treadmill. But there's an exciting escape. The weight loss challenge with Mama V on the Cosmopolitan Mix show will help. In 30 days, we look to shed off quite a bit. Of course, motivated by daily tips from clinical biochemist and fitness instructor Ada.
Fitness is a catalyst for positive changes, and it affects every aspect of your life. If you want better results, you have to make better choices. So I'll be giving you tips for today's exercise. It's a cardio blast day. So we start with 20 high knee jumps. Do this for 3 repetitions. So 20 high knee jumps. You do your first set, you rest for 10 seconds. You do your second set, rest for 10 seconds, and do your last set and rest for 10 seconds.
And valuable dieting schedules and information from public.
Reducing your calorie intake. 1. Eat slowly. Yes, I mean eat slowly. Take your time to eat. Take your time to chew. 2. Avoid anxiety and worry. Yes, avoid anxiety and worry at mealtime.
With this, the over 200 subscribers on the weight loss WhatsApp platform with Mama V are motivated. All the no-holds-barred talk about fitness encourages us. And days into the challenge, the improvement is significant. The subscribers believe by day 30, a size 6 or so would be rewarding. Mama V Owusu Abwaje talks about why this challenge is important.
This all started as a normal conversation on the Cosmopolitan Mix. We were just talking about our everyday challenges, how you gain weight and it's annoying. You see it in your waist, your thighs. You don't know what to do about it. People talk about exercising, but you need some kind of motivation to do it. So we thought, okay, why don't we just try and challenge ourselves and get this going? Our hope really is that at the end of the 30 days, we will see significant changes in our lives and we can all take this up as a lifestyle.
Now, you see why all of you have to join the challenge? On Saturday, challengers will meet at the Labadi Beach Hotel and work out as a group. Also a fine opportunity to meet and greet. I'll be there, and I'm definitely dragging my colleagues Ernest Menu and Maxwell Agbagba along. They really need to shed some weight. Operation Shed the Kilos is on. And let's hear results after 30.
Bro, ready. It's not easy. Vim, I think I need to join this challenge. We'll see how it goes. At least Kojo Yankson is riding with Ian Walker, the British High Commissioner, so exercising. And Mama V Owusu Abwaje has started this challenge on Joy 99.7. It looks like I'm the only one left alone. It's only when Chelsea loses I get to exercise. We'll see how it goes. But now wait for the latest news highlights. In the meantime, we have more news as we look at what stories are dominating the front pages, the back pages, as well as the center spreads of the newspapers we have in the studio this morning.